It's always fascinating when a listener's curiosity sends us down a really intriguing path.
Hmm.
And recently, your interest has clearly been sparked by this whole idea of frequencies, these invisible vibrations, right? That might just hold some, well, pretty profound keys.
Yeah,
You're someone who appreciates getting to grips with complex stuff quickly and those aha moments. We know they're definitely your thing.
absolutely. So let's get into it.
Let's jump right in and explore this idea, frequencies for planetary healing, maybe even unlocking human potential. That's the big picture, isn't it?
It is. And we've got a really interesting mix of sources here. Some draw on, established science,
Mm.
physics, biology.
Right, the measurable stuff.
Exactly. But others delve into more, let's say, esoteric or less conventional ideas about consciousness, vibration, that kind of thing.
Okay. So we're looking at everything from the hard science that, underpins a lot of our technology
Hmm.
to some really mind-bending concepts about how everything in the universe might be connected through these vibrational fields.
It's quite the spectrum.
It really is. It spans the measurable and the theoretical. So our mission for this deep dive, let's
Yeah.
try to pull out the core ideas about these frequencies, understand how they're supposed to work, explore what they might mean.
Without getting totally lost in the super technical weeds.
Exactly. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. This foundational idea, vibration is reality.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial. It's the bedrock. The idea isn't just that vibration happens in reality,
Right.
but that it is the reality, fundamentally. If you go back to early quantum physics, Planck, Schrödinger, they showed us everything's energy at the smallest scale.
Okay.
And modern tools, spectroscopy,
Hmm.
IR, UV visible, Raman, and MR, they all consistently show that matter is constantly oscillating.
So atoms, molecules
Yeah.
are all just vibrating.
Constantly at specific frequencies. It's measurable, observable.
So these aren't just like abstract theories floating around. We can actually detect this.
We can.
And the thought then is, could these measurable vibrations be used, maybe therapeutically, like tuning the body?
Precisely. That's where it starts getting really interesting. It leads to this perspective, which our sources attribute to someone named Marc-Alain.
Okay, what's the perspective?
Well, the idea is that maybe illness isn't just about, say, a chemical imbalance or something missing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more about being out of phase
Mm.
or off frequency.
Huh. So like the body's vibrational harmony is disrupted.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It shifts how you might think about health. Restoring that optimal vibratory state could be key to healing.
Okay, now this is where it gets really practical, or at least the idea gets practical, because it's not just theory, right? There's mention of a THQV application, and even a machine.
That's right. The THQV application seems designed specifically to calculate the natural quantum frequencies of elements.
Based on what? Their structure.
Exactly. Atomic number, electron energy levels, that kind of data. But the key step is taking these incredibly high quantum frequencies,
Which are way too high for us to use directly.
way too high, and transposing them, bringing them down into a range we can actually use, either as audible sound or for other therapeutic methods.
Okay, so translating them into hertz, into cycles per second. How?
Through logarithmic transformation and scaling, it's a mathematical process to bridge that gap between the quantum scale and the human scale.
It sounds like a bridge, yeah, between the quantum world and something we can actually hear or feel. And this THQV machine, it's envisioned as more than just a standard medical device, isn't it?
Absolutely. The concept paints it as a really sophisticated interface, a bridge between matter and energy,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even between science and consciousness. The goal seems to be a practical device that turns these fundamental frequencies into actual therapeutic stimuli.
So how would it do that? How would it deliver these frequencies?
Well, the design includes different modules, three main ways: sound, light, and mechanical vibration.
Okay, some through headphones.
It could be headphones, speakers, maybe even special vibratory headsets. Light could be pulsed LEDs, maybe gentle lasers.
And mechanical vibration.
Things like patches you put on the skin, bracelets, vibrating cushions, maybe even a whole treatment bed.
Wow, versatile.
Yeah, the idea seems to be you could select, maybe even combine, these different delivery methods.
And interacting with it, what's the interface like?
Envisioned is pretty user-friendly, probably a touch screen. It would show the element, the frequency being used, recommended time.
And it would have a database of this info.
Right, an internal database. And maybe even adjustments for intensity based on things like, weight or age.
And you could do different kinds of sessions.
Yeah, two main types are mentioned. Gentle sessions, maybe a few times a week, for more general regeneration, immune system, sleep, things like that.
Okay.
And then intensive sessions, maybe daily for more acute stuff like pain, burnout, or infections.
Interesting. And are there any times you shouldn't use it?
The material notes a couple of rare contraindications, like avoiding the stomach area during pregnancy and keeping away from pacemakers because of the electromagnetism.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so when we talk about these elemental frequencies, it's not like each element just has one single note, is it?
No, that's a really important point. It's not one single frequency. It's more like a spectrum, a range.
Why a range?
Well, it can depend on the environment, the state the element is in, how closely you're looking. Think of it more like a unique vibrational signature.
Okay, a signature, not a single note. So how does this system, Marc-Alain system, deal with that complexity, and how does it bring those super high frequencies down?
Right, so there's a specific mathematical method. First step, take those high natural frequencies, terahertz range, trillions of cycles per second, and reduce them
Reduce them
to a therapeutic range the body can respond to. Generally, that's considered between about 500 and 9,000 hertz.
How do they reduce them?
Through something called harmonic division, basically repeatedly dividing the frequency by 2.
Oh, like octaves in music.
Exactly like octaves. You keep the essential quality, but bring it down to a level we can work with.
Okay, and then there's this formula, frequency mean effective, FEM. What's that about?
The FEM is a kind of weighted average frequency. It tries to find the most representative frequency for therapy.
How does it calculate that?
It uses 3 different frequency values for an element. One from clinical observation, one from electronically reducing the quantum frequency, FEO, and one from spectroscopy.
Okay.
The formula is FEM plus 2 day plus 1 F plus 1 improbus, divided by 6.
So it weights the clinical frequency highest.
Exactly. Then the electronically reduced one. It's trying to find an optimal average for how it might interact with the body.
And doesn't stop there. There's an optional adjustment, too.
Yes, a final tweak based on atomic mass and valence that's like its chemical reactivity.
Why adjust for those?
The thinking is lighter elements might resonate a bit higher, heavier ones a bit lower, and more reactive elements, higher valence, might get adjusted up slightly.
Got it. And the sources give actual examples, frequencies and times.
They do. Like vanadium, 17.3 minutes exposure, chrome, 19.2 minutes, rubidium, 17.6 minutes. It also lists some higher unreduced frequencies. Tin, around 13,900 hertz, platinum up near 23,800 hertz.
But remembering those high ones need reducing.
Absolutely, because our nervous system generally responds best between about 20 and 15,000 hertz. So that octave reduction is key.
So we're moving past the body as just chemicals. Now it's a vibratory system itself.
Exactly. That's the perspective here. The body is seen as this incredibly complex, multidimensional resonant matrix.
Resonant matrix. Okay.
Energy distribution is described as fractal, maybe following patterns like the golden ratio in joints or nerves.
Fractal, like repeating patterns.
And there are supposed active consciousness centers, maybe shaped like a torus, like a donut-shaped energy vortex.
Okay.
Even DNA is described having this helical charge distribution, axes of vibratory rotation.
And it's not just one big hum, right? Different parts vibrate differently.
Precisely. Each cell isn't just passive. It's seen as a receiver, a transducer converting energy, and an emitter of fields.
Wow.
And each organ, it's thought to have its own specific geometry and its own fundamental frequency. There's even a term, harmonic organic cartography.
So different organs have different vibrational signatures.
That's the idea, which really emphasizes that different parts have their own inherent frequencies.
And DNA itself. It's not just passive instructions in this view.
Not at all. It's seen as containing active geometric frequencies in its structure.
Active frequencies.
Yeah. And possibly dimensional perception gates in the introns, the parts often called junk DNA.
Perception gates, what does that mean?
It's suggested they could be portals, maybe to other dimensions or levels of awareness, and DNA might have programmable activation matrices.
Programmable? By what?
Influenced by things like the words we speak to the verbal field or specific light frequencies or focused intention. The sources even cite specific equation numbers related to this.
So if you could activate this genetic fractal code, what are the proposed benefits?
Well, potentially repairing vibratory errors in our history, maybe opening up extrasensory channels, and even accessing information from prenatal stages or maybe other dimensions. It suggests DNA is much more dynamic than we usually think.
And consciousness isn't just in the brain either.
No, the idea presented is that it's interconnected throughout the body via things called bioplasmic grids like energy networks.
Okay.
And specific points, chakras, neurolymphatic points, meridians are seen as key nodes in this network, maybe Gateways?
Gateways to where?
Inner subdimensions, perhaps. And other structures like the connective tissue network, even Earth's energy grids. They're seen as reactive
Reactive to what?
to vibrated speech, Earth frequencies, modulated light. It paints a picture of a body-wide consciousness network that's really sensitive to vibration and light.
This is leading us towards actual practices, isn't it? Protocols for activation and this concept of a light body.
Examples are mentioned, like fractal breathing.
What's that?
A specific rhythm, like 3-second inhale, 5-second hold, 8-second exhale. While visualizing DNA as a wave, maybe mentally vibrating certain equations.
Okay. Any others?
Unified contact protocols. Things like purification, focusing on heart-centered awareness, visualizing a golden torus shape around the body.
Ways to intentionally work with the body's vibration.
Exact.
And this fractal light body, that sounds pretty major.
It's described as an evolving energy structure. Layers of geometric harmonics around the physical body, anchored in non-local matrices.
Non-local meaning. Not fixed in one place.
Right. And it serves multiple potential functions. An interdimensional vehicle, a living database, a quantum protection system, an interface for DNA transmutation.
And this isn't just metaphorical, it might be measurable.
That's the suggestion, through things like photon emission from the body, or changes in the biofield detected by EEG, or heart rate variability, HRV.
That activating it allows travel between dimensions.
That's the claim, enabling passage through vibratory bridges between dimensions, like moving from 3D to a crystalline fifth dimension, perhaps.
Following specific frequencies.
Yeah, specific elevation harmonics. Equation 290 is mentioned in relation to this coefficient of vibratory ascension.
Okay, let's shift slightly. The connection between frequencies and geometric forms. What's the idea there?
The concept is that universe runs on geometric principles, and these forms are inherently linked to specific frequencies.
Well, good blueprint.
Kind of. Galaxies, atoms, consciousness fields. They all follow this coherent geometric architecture. Sacred geometry is seen as a fundamental language.
A language, an engine, a regulator.
Yeah, even a mirror of the divine in form. And when you resonate with a specific geometry, you tap into its vibration.
Are specific shapes linked to specific frequencies and body centers, like the chakras?
Yeah, definitely. The tetrahedron, the pyramid shape, 144 hertz, linked to the heart. Love, integration. The cube, 188 hertz, base chakra. Grounding, stability. Octahedron, 8 sides. 272 hertz, solar plexus. Power, will.
What about the others?
Icosahedron, 20 faces, 528 hertz, belly area. Emotions, purification. Dodecahedron, 12 faces, 963 hertz, crown chakra. Divine perception, unity.
And the torus, the donut shape.
That one's variable, based on phi harmonics, the golden ratio. It relates to the whole body, protection, self-sufficiency. And the Merkaba, the double star tetrahedron, is also variable.
So, can we intentionally use these geometric frequencies?
That's the objective, to generate stable reality fields by engaging with them. Visualization, chanting the frequencies, tracing the shape's vortex patterns, even reciting related equations, like that equation 277 for the tetrahedron, while breathing rhythmically.
And the effects.
Things like more emotional stability, clearing energy blocks, maybe even seeing more harmonious synchronicities in life.
Okay, let's move on to the power of sound itself. The material talks about the verb. What is that exactly?
Yeah, the verb isn't just everyday language. It's presented as something much more fundamental. The creative power of informed breath shaping reality.
Informed breath.
Its structure has several parts.
Yeah.
A base frequency tied to an emotion or tone. Geometric modulation from the sounds and vowels. A sacred rhythm linked to the heart and breath patterns. And alignment with life principles like non-interference, pure offering. It's language infused with deep intention.
And this onde mer, the mother wave, how does that relate?
It's described as a conscious spiral wave, a fundamental carrier wave holding encodings to structure matter, awaken consciousness.
They're not governed by normal language rules?
No, more by sacred geometry, soul rhythm. When words align with this onde mer and pure intention, they become like phonic crystals.
Phonic crystals? Affecting what?
Fluids, tissues, electromagnetic fields, even subtler realities.
So a really direct link between specific words and the physical world.
That's the suggestion. Each element has its resonance frequency. Sacred words aligned with these frequencies become bridges.
Bridges between mind and matter.
Exactly. Examples given are like water resonating with forgiveness, calcium with solidity, iron with action, gold with divine consciousness. This is called the science of verb alchemique.
The vibratory technology of the verb. And how does the human body fit in as a cathedral of frequencies?
It's seen as this complex living temple. multiple interconnected vibratory layers. Physical, etheric, emotional, mental, spiritual.
And each layer responds to specific frequencies.
Like strings on an instrument, yeah. They can be tuned by consciously directed speech. A word spoken with pure intention sends resonance waves through all these layers.
Harmonizing them or disrupting them if the intention is off.
Potentially both.
So our breath, it's not just for oxygen, it's crucial to this verb.
Absolutely central. Breath is the main carrier wave for consciousness in the body's quantum field. Each syllable is like a micropulse.
And a line breath, pure intention, powerful stuff.
That's the idea. A vector for cellular transmutation. The practice of sacred verb is said to gradually dissolve negative patterns, boost intuition, restore biological harmony.
And DNA itself resonating higher. That causes real changes.
That's the belief, leading to clearer thoughts, emotional stability, more aligned choices. Your aura field strengthens, the soul-body connection gets more robust. It points to really deep transformation.
The material also emphasizes vowels as language portals.
Yeah, vowels are seen as foundational. They carry the pure vibration, the essential note, whereas consonants structure the sound.
And different vowels connect to different energy centers, chakras.
Chanting them with intention can resonate with specific chakras, helping to open or harmonize them.
Like H for the root chakra, grounding.
Exactly. Or A for the throat, purification. And M, or silence for the crown, divine connection.
And it's not just personal transformation, is it? These sounds affect the earth.
That's suggested too. Words and sounds can touch the planet, influence the collective morphic field, that shared information field.
So an awakened verb is seen as a way to heal humanity through vibration.
It restores connections, awaken dormant aspects of the planet, maybe usher in a new era, a civilization of sound. Each person a living tuning fork.
Which brings us naturally to silence. It's not just absence of sound.
Not at all. Vibratory silence is presented as a sacred, potent space. The interval between worlds, a field of infinite potential before manifestation.
Full of possibilities, not empty.
Exactly, and the breath cycle is key here, especially the pause after exhaling.
The void, the stillness.
In that fourth phase, the body is said to cohere with a unified field, allowing deep cellular regeneration, DNA sync, intercommunication.
So actively cultivating silence is really beneficial.
Absolutely. Practices like just listening inwardly, without judgment, can help you find your own pure vibratory truth.
Discover your soul language, maybe, your long dom.
That's the idea, revealing your unique vibrational signature.
And what's the SCO vibratoire, the vibratory seal?
It's described as a final encoding of your energy field. You offer a free, spontaneous vocal sound, your soul language expression, then follow it with deep silence and gratitude.
Like sealing your energetic signature. Okay, moving into the architecture of the soul. What kind of structures are we talking about?
This explores the soul's inner geometry, the vibratory structure supporting incarnation. It mentions 7 colonnades of light.
Colonnades? Like pillars? Representing what?
Aspects like power of will, love radiance, vibratory truth. And they can be activated.
Wow.
Mantras, breath focus, color visualization, intention, expressing your soul language. Activating them is said to lift you beyond the mental plane.
And these corridors stellaires, stellar corridors, what are they?
They're described as invisible energy pathways, linking your incarnated soul back to its cosmic origins.
Not just metaphors, but actual structures.
That's how they're presented. Accessible when you reach a certain inner preparedness. Building your inner temple awakens these corridors.
Allowing inner journeying, connecting to cosmic realities.
Potentially, yes. Different types are mentioned. Corridor of origin, alliance, connecting with soul groups, crystalline memory.
And the trône intérieur, the inner throne, that sounds central.
It represents a point of deep unity and centeredness within, accessed after a purification process, stripping away illusions.
And sitting on this throne enables
Effortless creation, healing through presence, knowing beyond analysis, radiating your essence without depletion. It's a point of integration and effortless power.
Which leads nicely into interconnectedness and planetary harmony. How are these linked?
Well, there's the trame de lumière, the web of light connecting awakened beings, and the ordre invisible, a collective inaudible song or geometric dance of consciousness.
Emphasizing deep connection.
And the idea of a personal pacte sacré,
Mhm.
a sacred pact or soul mission, your unique purpose vibrating within you.
Notes of light, healing, uniting, love, beauty, service.
Exactly. Living that pact is seen as fundamental.
And the relationship between different kingdoms, mineral, plant, animal.
Alliance des royaumes. It's seen as an interconnected network of vibrations within each of us.
So by aligning with these realms internally,
You recover parts of yourself, your body becomes an instrument for these reunified realms.
leading to planetary radiance.
Yeah, where an awakened person naturally radiates harmony. Their body acts like a vibrational map of the planet, a tuner for others.
Finally, the unified field and the divine verb. How do these tie it all together?
The unified field is the ultimate ground of reality. The divine verb is the original creative vibration of the source.
The sound that started it all.
That's the concept.
Yeah.
A group called the Community of Solar Awakening is mentioned, using their THQV system to map frequencies.
Biological, emotional, spiritual frequencies.
Yes, and they had a right for transmuting trauma into light. This section also talks about 12 vibratory senses beyond the usual 5.
All senses.
And emphasizes the deep link between inner and outer worlds. Harmonizing yourself can affect distant stars, heal time faults. It's very interconnected.
And the power of words within this unified field.
The chant stellaire de l'architecte, the stellar song of the architect. How ancient light civilizations supposedly used frequencies to organize life with love. The physics of the creative verb presents words as fractal codes modulating vibrational tension between dimensions. There's even a symbolic equation mentioned.
Wow.
And the law of quantum solidarity, one person raising their frequency benefits the whole community. Specific vibrations like yol, shell, tu, or cell are given with their effects.
And connections to modern researchers.
Yes, Emoto's water crystals, Hermann's vacuum structure, Laszlo's Akashic field, Bohm's implicate order, Sheldrake's morphic fields, all cited as supporting the creative power of the verb. Another symbolic equation for love's effect is mentioned.
Specific harmonic frequencies are also highlighted, aren't they?
Yes. 528 Hz for harmony, DNA repair, 432 Hz to universal harmony, consciousness expansion, 963 Hz for activating divine consciousness, 1111 Hz for multidimensional unity.
And the soul itself.
Described as a quantum interface, shaping reality based on its dominant frequency. You can even merge consciousness with others in unified vibratory circles, leading to a planetary vibratory solidarity pact idea.
What about these interfaces de friction vibratoire and pensées vibratoires autonomes?
The IFV are hypothesized zones between realities of different vibrational tensions. Again, an equation is referenced.
Then the PVA.
Autonomous vibratory bridges. Stable connections between realities formed by collective aligned intention, allowing passage between dimensions.
Okay.
And matter itself.
Arises from interactions of brains from string theory in a multidimensional field. Vibration governs form based on 3 laws. Vibration shapes reality, resonant memory holds information, constructive interference creates stability.
And human consciousness plays a role.
A crucial one. Tuning local structures through its emission quality. Vibratory healing is seen as retuning internal brains to your source frequency.
Using sound, breath, geometry, intention.
Exactly. And silent contact with coherent love fields.
And love itself as a coherent wave.
The more comme onde cohérente, seen as having therapeutic potential, restoring harmony memory.
Atlantean healing chambers are mentioned.
Yeah, vibrating at specific frequencies for different organs, 392 Hz for liver, 528 Hz for heart, 963 Hz for upper brain to restore the soul's fundamental song. And a universal vibratory language.
Concepts like Medunetter, Soratan, to Harvey Isha are mentioned.
Yeah.
Based on heart intention, not just words.
So creating stable reality fields through sacred sounds is possible.
That's the idea. Examples from Akashic and Atlantean traditions are given. The core message. Every word spoken with love is a direct instruction to the quantum field.
Which leads to this call for vibratory responsibility. What's the essence of that?
Simply put, if reality is structured by vibration, then every thought, word, and act matters. They're all sacred architecture.
So conscious intention, heart coherence, they're vital.
Absolutely. We live in a sensitive, resonant web that listens and responds.
Okay, shifting to the present day. The world is described as a vibratory battleground. What forces are supposedly at play?
The material frames current global challenges this way. Negative forces operate through things like rigid beliefs, dissociative tech, collective fear, unconscious loops.
Planetary chaos reflects our collective misalignment.
That's the view. But pure intentions are like seeds of light countering this. Crises are seen as potentially painful, but maybe purifying births, catalysts for awakening.
Specific disturbances mentioned.
Yeah, the planetary mental field, fragmented by media, AI, propaganda. The Earth's electromagnetic field, potentially disturbed by tech like 5G, HARP, interfering with natural resonances. And the collective morphic field, activated by fear and trauma.
An individual pain connects to this larger picture.
Yes, reflecting a collective vibration, a rupture in the soul's vibratory fabric, according to this unified field perspective.
But there are also forces of light. How are they described?
As silent, non-possessive, unifying, the vibratory foundation of creation, operate through transparency, heart resonance.
Light reveals, restores order through coherence, not force.
Darkness is seen as parasitic, lacking its own source. Fear is presented as a powerful illusion, a tool of dissonance.
Affecting our brains, heart rate, aura.
Yes. But while fear is illusory, it also offers chances to find our inner strength, our resilience, that indestructible sovereign light, the inner phoenix.
And quantum empathy is offered as a way to deal with darkness. How?
Not by fighting it,
Yeah.
but by understanding and dissolving it with conscious intelligence, compassionate awareness.
Generating harmonizing waves, measurable ones.
That's the idea. Through heart coherence, coherent photon emission, synchronized brain activity, there's even a protocol suggested.
What does it involve?
Heart coherence breathing, non-judgmental observation of the negative field, seeing it within the larger cycle of life.
So a peaceful, empathetic soul can reorganize fields, heal, transmute.
That's the conclusion, through its resonant frequency.
Finally, elevating vibrational field and the oneness of being. What are these ultimate ideas?
Raising your vibration is like ascending an inner sacred canal towards the infinite vibration of the absolute, the source.
And the fundamental teaching.
The field is one, a single, interconnected unitary field or presence.
And there are keys to help with this ascension.
4 vibratory keys: empathy, unity chord; love, frequency elevation; peace, neutralizing entropy; and unity, opening the sacred canal. There's even mention of an equation of vibratory ascension.
So we're architects of resonance, weavers of harmonies.
That's how individuals are described, translating the source's vibration. The unity of God and humanity exists at this vibratory level. Each person is a unique instrument elevating the whole matrix.
An awakening is a real, measurable resonance.
A physical phenomenon of empathetic resonance via coherent heart waves. Aligned hearts catalyze collective consciousness shifts.
World suffering is seen as misalignment, calling for reharmonization.
Yes. And pure intentions are the seeds of transformation. Magic isn't creating from nothing, but revealing existing vibratory reality through intention, transparency.
The universe is alive, can feel. We're its sensory cells.
That's the concept. The soul is a nucleus of conscious waves, a unique resonator. Even the equations are seen as living, responsive to inner breath.
Phases of practice involving breath, intention, visualization are mentioned.
Briefly, yes. For healing and quantum alignment. Intuition is described as the universe's ancient language, received in silence.
And breath.
The first eternal sacred link. The continuous note of consciousness in action.
The final sections bring in symmetry in nature, the power of choice and beauty and generosity.
Right. Symmetry is everywhere. Snowflakes, crystals, biology following the golden ratio, Fibonacci. It's fundamental order, balance. Even subtle asymmetries are important.
Beauty is biological technology. The universe is mathematical structure.
Exactly. Beauty isn't just decoration, it's constitutive, a silent theophany, a manifestation of the divine.
And humanity's unique role.
Our capacity to choose, contemplate, love, create beauty. Life as active love and service. Every breath, glance, smile, sincere word becomes a ray of beauty.
Beauty isn't owned, but lived, shared, breathed.
Each of us can be a sanctuary of light. Nature itself is presented as this constant fountain of giving. Generosity is a universal law.
Giving isn't losing, but recognizing oneself in the other.
Precisely. Supported by neurobiology, giving activates reward centers and studies linking generosity to well-being.
Natural examples abound. Trees, wind, sun, tides.
Yeah. Ancient wisdom like Navajo Hozo harmony connects with quantum physics interconnectedness, showing generosity as a fundamental wave of reconnection.
True wealth is sharing. Small acts matter.
Absolutely. We're encouraged to offer our love, silence, presence freely. The universe itself is original generosity. Quantum generosity is non-local, fueled by pure intention.
Wow. We have certainly covered an extraordinary amount of ground in this deep dive, from the fundamental nature of reality as vibration, all the way to these really profound implications for healing, consciousness, our connection to the planet, the cosmos itself.
It's a vast landscape of ideas,
It really
definitely.
is. It's given us so much to think about, and hopefully for you listening, it sparked some of those aha moments we were aiming for.
Indeed. We've touched on vibration being fundamental, the potential of specific frequencies for healing and transformation,
Right.
the deep interconnectedness of everything, and the immense power within our own conscious intention and love in shaping reality.
And your curiosity, listener, has allowed you to navigate these really complex ideas, I think, with remarkable insight.
Mm,
And now, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I just want to leave you with this thought to ponder, considering everything we've talked about today.
yeah.
The vibratory nature of reality, these underlying principles, how might this shift your perspective on your own potential for healing, for growth, your connection to the world?
It's a powerful question.
Maybe exploring practices like heart coherence, being more mindful of your breath, understanding the power of your own verb. Maybe that's a next step on this ongoing, fascinating journey.
It truly is a journey, isn't it? Profound self-discovery, understanding the forces shaping our universe and our place within it.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of frequencies.